Okay, in this example, we want to evaluate the circulation of a vector field through a curve C by evaluating the surface integral in Stokes' theorem. We're going to assume that the curve has a counterclockwise orientation when viewed from above. This is our given vector field, and C is the circle on the xy plane, so the plane z equals 0, whose equation is x squared plus y squared equals 28. So let's recall the statement of Stokes' theorem. Assuming we have the conditions met, we can talk about that. But Stokes' theorem tells us that we can evaluate the line integral over a closed curve in space of the circulation of the field, or the circulation of the field through over the curve, by evaluating double integral over the enclosed region of the curl of the field along the normal. So how much of the curl is in the direction, is on the surface in the direction of the normal, is measuring how much of it is on the surface times dA. Okay. This is as long as our curve and our surface are oriented compatibly, and also we want to make sure we have a simply connected region and a curve that does not intersect itself. So all of those things, and of course our field must have continuous partial derivatives. Okay, so let's think about what we have, right? We have a curve that is a circle on the xy plane, but we're not given a surface here. So Stokes' theorem actually tells us that this integral is surface independent. This is a property of the curl. So we can choose any surface we want that has a boundary of C, and they will have the same circulation. So the double integral on the right will have the same value because we're measuring the circulation using the line integral on the left. So that means that I can choose whatever surface I want to evaluate the right-hand side of Stokes' theorem. And so I'm going to choose the disk on the xy plane that has a radius of the square root of 28. That seems to be a really simple surface that I can use that has the circle x squared plus y squared equals 28 as its boundary. So that means that if I'm on the xy plane, the surface that I'm going to use is just the circle the disk enclosed by the circle whose radius is the square root of 28. So this is my region. My circle is oriented, as the problem states, in the counterclockwise direction when viewed from above. And so using our right-hand rule, or imagine walking along the curve, you want to make sure that the region's to your left to just ensure that we have consistent orientation. Our normal will then be pointing in the positive z direction. So we can use as our normal just 0, 0, 1, because our region is on the xy plane. Using 0, 0, 1 ensures that we're pointing in the positive z direction, which satisfies the compatibility between our region and our curve. Okay, so we have the normal. Let's calculate the curl for our field. We have a three-dimensional vector field, so let's set up our cross product of del with the vector field to find curl. So that will give partial with respect to x, partial with respect to y, partial with respect to z, and the components of our vector field are negative 2y, negative z, and x. And so here we have, for the first component, we're going to do the partial of x with respect to y, which is 0, minus the partial of negative z with respect to z, which will give us a plus 1. Then we have minus j hat, which will give us partial of x with respect to x is a 1, and then partial of negative 2y with respect to z is 0, and then plus k hat, and partial of negative z with respect to x is 0, and partial of Negative 2y with respect to y is negative 2, but that'll be a positive 2 since we're subtracting. So we get a curl that has components 1, negative 1, and 2. Now, in order to evaluate the right-hand side of Stokes' theorem, the surface integral, let's go ahead and calculate the dot product between the curl of f and our normal. So we have 1, negative 1, and 2. Dot product with the normal, 0, 0, 1. And so this will just give us 2. Okay, we're ready to set up our integral. Since we're integrating a circle over a disk, we can use polar coordinates. And if we do that, then we know that r will be between 0 and the square root of 28. And we want the entire disk, so theta is going to go from 0 to 2 pi. And setting up our double integral, then we have integral from 0 to 2 pi, integral from 0 to the square root of 28, the curl dotted with the normal, so the part of the curl that's on the surface is 2, the component of the curl on the surface is 2, and then we have r, dr, d theta for the area element for polar coordinates. And now we're ready to integrate. So this will give us integral from 0 to 2 pi. We could just factor out the 2, or we can write with respect to r, this is just going to be r squared from 0 to the square root of 28 d theta, which gives us, that's Lucy and the dog upstairs. So this gives us the integral from 0 to 2 pi. R squared will be 28 d theta. And so this will be 28 times 2 pi, which gives us 56 pi. So one thing about this example that we used was that because in Stokes' theorem, we can choose any surface that has the boundary C, we chose a nice easy surface, which was just the disk with radius root 28 on the xy plane, and we applied Stokes' theorem by evaluating the surface integral, which is the flux of the curl on the right-hand side of my statement of the theorem.